Do you feel like your team at large took things for granted this year that you hadn't taken for granted in the past?
No.
Ja, you know the "I'm fine in the West" comment's going to get thrown back in your face at this point.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't care. I said it. I deal with off-court issues, I just got to be better, with my decision-making.
I have a bold take for you here, and this is coming from a Laker fan, of course. The Memphis Grizzlies could have beat the Los Angeles Lakers in a 7-game series. They definitely had the talent to. I don't necessarily think that's the most boldest take at all. But if there's been one theme over this past weekend, it's the fact that there are teams that are capable of shooting themselves in the foot as a result of not being fully locked in at the task at hand. And as a matter of fact, I think that's the entire theme of the Memphis Grizzlies season. Good news is it seems like some people acknowledge that that's the reality. Some other people, not so much. So I wanted to make this video originally for you guys on Sunday, but of course we had to cover the Warriors versus the Kings, so we saved this video for today. Before we get to the content, we are 2,000 followers away from 100,000 followers on Instagram. Once we get there, we're going to be giving away cash prizes to all my followers that turn on my notifications on Instagram. Now that we got all that out of the way, cue the intro. Some of the green slips you guys have been sending me is crazy. Like $1,250 off of a $250 slip, or $1,500 off of a $150 power play. We've been making bank off of our basketball picks, bro. March Madness was a huge success, and believe me, we're about to ramp it up for the NBA playoffs. All you have to do is download Prize Picks, use my promo code microphone, and they'll match your first deposit up to $100 instantly. After that, just follow me on Instagram. I post all of my picks onto my Instagram story for free, and we can start making money off of these picks together. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? The Memphis Grizzlies have underwent a very impressive rebuild over the past couple of years. Yeah, they weren't necessarily a team that has ever made it to the very top of the Western Conference. They had some very epic matchups in the early 2010s, including being the last team prior to this year to be an 8th seed that defeated the top seed in the Western Conference when they faced off against the San Antonio Spurs. But when they moved on from the grit and grind era, they were able to get themselves very talented franchise cornerstones relatively quickly. And it's a huge testament to how remarkable their general manager was at drafting the players they did. In the 2018 NBA draft, they selected this year's Defensive Player of the Year, Jaren Jackson Jr., with the 4th overall pick. 1 year later, they lucked into getting the 2nd overall pick in the 2019 NBA draft. Back when we were saying that the 2nd overall pick in the NBA draft typically is cursed, Memphis Grizzlies got lucky. With the New Orleans Pelicans taking Zion Williamson with the number 1 overall pick, the Grizzlies were able to take Ja Morant with the 2nd pick. As before we get to some very good acquisitions that they made during the draft process via trades, they acquired Desmond Bane, who was the 30th pick in the 2020 NBA draft following a trade with the Boston Celtics. They were able to acquire young talent that truly bought into their vision of being a hard-nosed team that not only had the capability of pushing the pace, but also had the capability of playing suffocating defense. As a result, throughout the season, they ranked 2nd in defensive rating, 4th in net rating, and this is all because of players like Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., Steven Adams, Tyus Jones, and Desmond Bane. Whereas you did have Dillon Brooks doing his best to become Draymond Green Light, and we'll get to that in just a sec. The Memphis Grizzlies were clearly on top of the world. They were the 2nd seed in the Western Conference for a reason. The only team that was able to stop them wasn't the Lakers, but it was also themselves. In Greek mythology, there is a term called hubris, and hubris is defined as someone that has excessive pride or self-confidence. And you tell me, does this seem like a person that has excessive pride?
Who do you look at around the league as you're studying and say, we're going to have to run through them?
Celtics.
No one in the West.
Nah. I'm fine in the West.
And that wasn't the only issue. Of course, you're a young team that is really coming into its own, and it appears as though you are the top team in the West. The Golden State Warriors, the defending champions, we're still trying to figure out how to pick up the pieces after, Draymond Green punched the living out of Jordan Poole. As a matter of fact, the last time I saw a team do something even remotely close to this was, none other than LeBron James. You remember when LeBron did this?
But we also know you 3 kings came down here to win championships. Not one, championships.
Not two.
LeBron, tell us about that.
Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7. Hey.
Ironically, they would only win 2, which is still fantastic, which is still remarkable. It is really funny because 2's the number he skipped at the end of the day, and the Miami Heat were definitely capable of way more. Same time, we're talking about a relatively young-ish LeBron James that was still learning a lot about himself, but I digress. Historically, there isn't a lot of teams that go out and brag about how good they are and then end up winning it all. As a matter of fact, a lot of sports fans love seeing those teams lose because it gives us moments like this.
Ja, you know the I'm fine in the West comment's going to get thrown back in your face at this point.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't care. I said it. I deal with it. So.
I mean, I don't think there's a better feeling in all of sports than a team that talks a copious amount of trash like this.
I don't care. He's old. No, I poke bears. I don't respect no one until they come and give me 40.
And then having the opposing team handle it like this.
I don't want to talk much more. Tomorrow's going to be a great game. I'm not here for the bullshit. I'm ready to play, and that's it. I appreciate it.
And then having the beef continue like this. And then ultimately, at the conclusion of the series, you're seeing a bunch of clips like this.
Shut it down, John!
But I will admit, I have to give a lot of props to Ja Morant. Not necessarily Dillon Brooks, but most definitely Ja Morant. Dillon Brooks' career, by the way, might be in jeopardy here. I mean, after spending an entire year doing dance routines like this, and then giving us meme-worthy moments like suggesting that LeBron James doesn't want to go left.
Who doesn't want to go left? Who doesn't want to go left? Who doesn't want to go left?
He wanted James. He gets him. James drives. James is fouled and one. LeBron.
So up until this point, if you notice, this wasn't completely a Dillon Brooks centered video, and it won't continue as a Dillon Brooks centered video because I wanted to be fair when it came to judging this entire Memphis Grizzlies team. And I want to highlight each and everything that could have potentially ruined their season. But seems like the Memphis Grizzlies believe that a huge symptom of their failure was none other than Dillon Brooks. And we're going to actually bring you an interview from their general manager later on in this video, but we can't continue this video without bringing you this piece of news first. According to Shams Charania, the Memphis Grizzlies have informed pending free agent Dillon Brooks that he will not be brought back under any circumstances, league sources say. Guys, I want you to know, this is insane. I don't think I've ever seen this terminology whenever it comes to telling a player that he's not being brought back. Usually, a team won't even say anything at all, and they just won't re-sign the player, and then obviously you'll get the hint. But telling a player almost immediately after their playoff series loss that he will not be brought back underneath any circumstances is something I don't think I've ever seen before. So the article goes like this: the Memphis Grizzlies have informed pending unrestricted free agent Dillon Brooks that he will not be brought back under any circumstances. League sources tell The Athletic. After his tumultuous end to the season, Brooks was told about the Grizzlies' decision to move on in exit meetings with team officials in recent days. Those sources said Memphis and Brooks discussed in exit meetings that it's best for both sides to have a fresh start, sources added. Brooks' first round series against the Lakers was considered to be a breaking point. In the span of the Grizzlies' series loss in 6 games, he called LeBron James, the Lakers' best player and a 4-time NBA champion, old, tired, and suggested that he was not as good as he used to be. Brooks punched LeBron James in the groin area in Game 3, earning an ejection. He missed a defensive assignment to help on James on the game-tying basket in Game 4, and then gave up a critical basket to LeBron James in overtime of that loss. Brooks also chose not to speak to the media after 3 of the losses in the series, resulting in a $25,000 fine by the NBA. The Lakers also left Brooks open during the series and dared him to shoot, using an extra defender to keep All-Star guard Ja Morant from driving or to blitz Desmond Bane on the perimeter. Brooks shot 31.2% from the field and 23.8% from three in the series, while averaging 10.5 points and shooting nearly 13 shots per game. The one thing that I will say about Dillon Brooks that probably drives me the craziest is him giving us moments where he is talking excessive amounts of trash to a player that clearly is significantly better than him, and then not holding himself accountable once he gets his kicked and once he gets embarrassed on national TV. He missed multiple post-game conferences, and not only is it embarrassing to his team, but it's embarrassing to himself as a man. And it kind of gives us all the feeling that Dillon Brooks isn't really serious about the game of basketball at a particular point. If you're really serious about the game of basketball, and you're not necessarily the greatest basketball player in the world, yet you're dressing up like you're Stone Cold Steve Austin, or you're dressing up like you're Outcast, or you're dressing up in all these fancy outfits just so you could trend, and then you're talking a bunch of trash to other teams just so you could trend because you want to become the next coming of Patrick Beverley or Draymond Green, then there's clearly a problem. I don't think basketball is on the forefront of Dillon Brooks' mind, and he certainly isn't anything close to Draymond Green. Remember last year in Game 5 of the Western Conference playoffs where the Memphis Grizzlies decimated the Golden State Warriors 134-95, and Draymond Green didn't avoid any post-game press conferences, and he held himself accountable?
We got our ass kicked. That's all right. It happens. But you don't be front runner. You know, when you spew it out, you gotta be willing to take it and not hide from it, not duck from it, not run from it, embrace it. So I appreciated the crowd tonight and the energy that they brought to the game. You know, and if they want to whoop that streak, we're going to whoop them together.
There's a right way and a wrong way to being controversial. And sure, I don't necessarily agree with everything Draymond does. I mean, stepping on Sabonis' chest, that's definitely a difficult one to really point out because you either think Sabonis grabbed his leg or that Draymond Green was completely out of line. But at the end of the day, Draymond Green will approach the media and he'll hold himself accountable whenever he does something wrong. And he'll be very vocal about it, but he'll also be very real about it. Like when he said this about Sabonis.
Lost a lot of respect for Sabonis. You don't shake guys' hands after you lose. I don't respect that. You lost. Deal with it.
The thing is, we talked about this in our video on the Golden State Warriors once they defeated the Sacramento Kings. The truly great teams are able to overcome significant amounts of adversity. It's a symptom of winning many championships. In year one, you're on a high and you're so excited that you've arrived. In year two, you might be getting burnt out because you're the defending champs and people are bringing their A game against you. Once you're trying to win your third championship in a row, or once you add that superstar player onto your team and there's a huge target on your back, there may be some controversy. But through it all, the best teams are able to overcome it. That's why I was so surprised that the Golden State Warriors were able to beat the Sacramento Kings to begin with. There was so much against them. Jordan Poole was playing like garbage. Andrew Wiggins played like garbage in Game 7, yet Steph Curry was able to carry his team to a victory so they could advance and face off against the Lakers in the Western Conference semifinals, a series that I think is going to be one of the greatest series in NBA history. But in the case of the Memphis Grizzlies, it's really obvious what got in their way. They really bought into their hype a little bit too much. The good news is, it seems like they acknowledge this. I mean, here's the general manager talking about maturity.
I mean, as I said, like there were definitely, some self-created distractions, in the series and along the way. We're going to take a different approach, as it pertains to that next season. I think you'll see a different approach from this team, but at the same time, confidence is important. There's nothing wrong with, some level of trash talking. We want a group that goes out there and competes and, is in that together. And that's part of the NBA, at some level. But there's a line, there's a line there, certainly. And I don't think that's lost on anyone here.
And I think there's no other person that learned a bigger lesson from this year than Ja Morant. We've made too many videos on Ja Morant this year. I mean, I could recite each and every controversy he got into in the order that it occurred off the top of my head. From him being accused of allegedly punching a 17-year-old kid at his home, to him appearing at the mall to confront a security guard to defend his mom, to Indiana Pacers security guards claiming that they saw a laser trailing on their heads at the conclusion of their game with the Memphis Grizzlies to Ja Morant himself posting a video of himself with a gun onto his social media while he's at a strip club. All of these were distractions. And Ja Morant's credit, he realized this at the conclusion of the season. I think he realized it even before the playoffs even began. He realized that this is a team that could go very far. But at the end of the day, what happened was they got in their own way. A little bit too much hubris. This is what Ja Morant had to say. I've just got to be better with my decision making. That's pretty much it. Off the court issues affected us as an organization pretty much, and we just need more discipline. Ja Morant would also say that I feel like my development is more off the court than on the court, just being disciplined on both sides. Off the court, making better decisions. On the court, being locked in even more, being a leader of this team. It pretty much starts with me. So however I attack any situation, I know my guys will follow. I've just got to be better in that area. Now, their head coach won't use that as an excuse. Taylor Jenkins said that he's not going to use distractions or anything like that as an excuse, but he referred to the early playoff exit as a pivotal moment for the Grizzlies, particularly for their young core of Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., and shooting guard Desmond Bane. I think we have a great culture, and your culture is going to get tested. I mean, there's going to be opportunities that are going to see how strong you are, how together you are, how resilient you are, how disciplined you are. And then you are really trying to build something day in and day out and ultimately try to win a championship. It doesn't happen overnight. Nothing's going to be a straight line. In my opinion, this is probably the moment in time that's going to be the ultimate wake-up call. Are we going to really understand what's in the preparation in the off-season, preparation in the season? It's what you do at work, off the court. Clearly, there are things that we've got to control and just embrace it together. How are we going to support each other through all this stuff? This is a journey that you go through from the start of the season to the end of the season, and it's not supposed to be easy, any of it. So are we going to take it lightly and take it for granted, or are we going to take a real hard look in the mirror? Ja Morant has the respect of a lot of players in the NBA. I mean, he dropped 45 points on the Lakers, and this was LeBron James and Anthony Davis's reaction.
That boy is good. I mean, he's good. I mean, you can't stop it.
So it's not like Ja Morant lost the respect of the entire NBA. For me personally, I thought this was just a young man that was having a difficult time coming to grips with the amount of celebrity that he was able to attain in a relatively short time. Luckily for him, it seems like he's a little bit more grounded. I'm not necessarily going to hold all the stuff that occurred for Ja Morant over the past year, as random as I thought it was, against him, because it seems like he's learned his lesson. I don't necessarily know what the future is going to look like for Dillon Brooks. I will say that the Memphis Grizzlies have one of the most exciting young cores in the NBA, and I think it was to their benefit to lose this early on after such a remarkable season than to win, because if they would have won or potentially made it all the way to the NBA Finals, that would have probably enabled them even more. Now they realize what got in their way and what held them back. So did the Memphis Grizzlies really go out sad, given the amount of potential this team had, or do you think this was the best thing that could have potentially happened to them? I'd like to hear what you have to say. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.